The no-confidence motion presented by the JVP against the incumbent government was debated in Parliament today.
The no-confidence motion was presented citing the government's inability to take the necessary actions both before and after the attacks that took place on Easter Sunday, among a number of other points. The Prime Minister stated that he was not called to attend the Security Council meeting, but before this, he did not say anywhere that he was being barred from these meetings. I remember Deputy Speaker some time ago, even the President mentioned that he was ready to go to the Central Bank. He said that the Prime Minister had heard that he was ready to go. He said that the Prime Minister had rushed to the President and asked him how he can go to the Central Bank, given that the Central Bank is under the Prime Minister's purview. He told of how both the Prime Minister and Arjuna Mahendran were at the Central Bank waiting when he went there for the first time. Such was the Prime Minister's concern for the security of the Central Bank. He stood there like a doorman. Then, is there no responsibility for him to be at the Security Council meeting? As a permanent member of the Security Council, it is his duty to be there. If he is not permitted to do so, these facts should be presented to Parliament. We believe his sheer negligence to the security of this country is a factor that contributed to the attacks that took place. This government has no right to rule over this country. I would like to remind that the opposition is larger than this government. If the opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa can bring together all the factions that he leads, including MP Sampanthan and the Tamil National Alliance, if they decide to come together at this time of tragedy and vote with their conscience this time only, definitely by the end of tomorrow, we will see the end of this government.
The joint opposition, however, questioned if the intentions of the Janata Vimukti Peramuna are genuine.
Following the April 21st attacks, a no-confidence motion was presented against a minister of this government. Taking that no-confidence into debate has been delayed in Parliament. Even some members of the government were ready to support that no-confidence motion. There was a clear division within the government. Also, there is an allegation against the JVP that them bringing this no-confidence motion was to avoid that division from taking place. Now, who brought this? The groups who were to bring this government into power. When the 56-day government was formed, we saw on TV the manner in which the JVP ran around to protect Ranil Wickremesinghe and the government during that no-confidence motion. If this is brought forward with genuine intentions, is the necessary surroundings being built for it?
Was this no-confidence motion truly presented against the government, or was it presented to restore the decaying power of Ranil Wickremesinghe? We have been suspicious about that from the first day it was brought forward. We are very clear about the fact that this was brought forward to reunite the government when it was divided, with some of the UNP MPs showing their support against the no-confidence motion brought forward against Minister Rishad Badiuddin. This was not brought forward against the government. We have to think whether this no-confidence motion was a full toss directed at the Prime Minister, who was cornered with nowhere to go. We have to remember that it is the same people who make propositions to the complaints that are being brought forward by the FCID who have presented this. They do so while staying at a private room at Temple Trees. The JVP started this Padasatana that filled up the streets. It was the JVP who protected the government throughout. That has been clearly understood by the people of this country. The JVP who fought, saying that everyone is the same, now have fallen onto the lap of Ranil Wickremesinghe of the UNP. It was led by Anurukumara Dissanayake. It was revealed that Anurukumara Dissanayake is depending on the money of Ranil Wickremesinghe. The JVP, who has protected the government throughout, has now commenced this Padasatana. We don't know whether he is doing that by having one foot in Sri Lanka and another in Ireland.
දැන් පාද සටන් පටන් අරගෙන තියෙනවා. අපි දන්නේ නැහැ එතුමගේ එක පාදයක් ලංකාවේ අනිත් පාදය අයර්ලන්තයේද කියලා.
Leader of the House, Minister Lakshman Kiriyalla, expressed these views on behalf of the government when the no-confidence motion was taken up today.
Certain people who were arrested in this regard were released on bail. When granting bail, the judge said that the 10 years following the war was a very peaceful time period and that large-scale murders were not reported during this period. The 1993 Sri Lanka legal reports say that the courts should be realistic and that those who make decisions mustn't make decisions as aliens. The judge also added that the attack was launched without a motive and that ISIS was never discussed in Sri Lanka. Who said that an ISIS attack will be launched in parliament? No one. The past 10 years have been peaceful. This attack was launched without a motive. The judge says that the intelligence head had not mentioned a date. He has forwarded this message via WhatsApp. The judge says that sending a message via WhatsApp is unwise. When taking a look at the no confidence motion, it is clear that the Minister of Defence does not have a responsibility here. It is all about the Prime Minister, Cabinet and the ministers. Have you mentioned about the Minister of Defence in this no confidence motion? Why only the Prime Minister? This is purposely done to put Prime Minister and us in trouble. The Security Council has instructed the Prime Minister not to attend even after he got to know about this. They didn't come even after the Prime Minister asked them to. The Prime Minister visited the Security Council. He was seated outside for 30 minutes.
අගමැතිතුමා ගියා ආරක්ෂක අමාත්‍යාංශයට නියතමානීව. ගිහලා පැය භාගයක් එළියේ වාඩි වෙලා හිටියා.